6 months ago, I did something crazy. I invested $350,000 into learning from one of the greatest business minds alive today, Myron Golden. Now, you might be wondering, why would anyone spend the price of 2 Lamborghinis just to sit in a room and learn? What could possibly make that worth it? And the truth is, most entrepreneurs, maybe even you, are trying to figure out the difference between spinning your wheels and scaling to true freedom. We've all been told to model success, to copy what others are doing. But the real question is, are you copying the surface or are you understanding the principle? That's the difference between staying stuck and creating exponential results. I've learned this directly from Myron, a man who gets people to pay $25,000 for just 2 days with him, and I've been applying these same lessons in my own company, scaling past 300 VAs and heading toward 8 figures. So in today's video, I'm going to break down the money mindset shift that separates poor, middle class, and rich entrepreneurs, and how applying this shift will change the way you delegate, scale, and ultimately buy back your freedom.
And one thing that I really learned from him, everybody talk about modeling after success, right? But then one thing that Myron actually talked about is you need to understand the principle, not just the analog. When you copy, you need to understand the why I'm copying what. So what I'm trying to say here is money definitely buys speed. And I went to Myron's 2-day event, and he actually got people to pay him $25,000 for a 2-day event. I was like, wow, how is that possible, right? And how can I do it too, right? So I get to understand, okay, he is really focusing on the payout, not the people, not the process, not the product. Okay. When he's doing his sales pitch, it's not about the people, right? This program is going to include this, that, whatever. He really focusing on the payoff. What am I going to get at the end? And it was such a crazy illustration for me because I thought it's just me. Maybe I'm an emotional buyer, but he asked everybody on his stage, it's like, how many of you guys really know what I am delivering to you besides the one promise I gave you? And 90% of people raise their hand that they have no clue, even after they paid the money, on what he is offering. They just know that he will 10x their result. I was like, really? It's crazy. Because we're so focusing on this is what I can do for you. This is what the program is. There's a 2 coaching call, 3 this, 4 that, 5 whatever. So you need to buy that. And he said, you need to focusing on that one promise. What is the payoff or the transformation that you're giving it to them? So I was like, wow, that is super powerful for me because I am still, until today, I'm still struggling with telling you what can I do for you, how much more time you're going to get from me. And when I bought the social media program, I realized that my mindset have shifted. I realized that I said, I don't want to do, because there are 2 programs that we could buy from 2 different coaches. One of them say, do 5 of this variation. So a total of 30 social posts to see which one works. This one say, I'm going to tell you this one thing that you do, and then that one thing will get you 1 million views. So which one would you do? I was like, just tell me to do that one thing because I really do not like social media. I was like, oh, that's what people really want. They don't want to buy this 30, 40, 50 thing to try out and then figure out that one thing. They just want to do that one thing, but get the same result, right? I wanted to start with this thing called the money mindset. Okay. We really simple techniques, right? So if you need that, go for it, right? But it really makes me understand even more because he talked about the principle. He said, poor people, the purpose of the money is to pay bills. Okay. Middle class people, they believe that the purpose of the money is to get good credit so that they can buy more things. Okay. Have good credit, buy more things, right? Okay. Think about it and then reflect about how you feel. Okay. And sometimes your current situation and your current mindset might have a gap too. You might have to catch up too. Okay. I realize that I have to catch up. I still have the poor people mindset a lot of time, but I want to be a rich person, right? And then he said that the rich people believe that the purpose of the money is to turn them into more money, right? That's why they get to multifamily, right? Okay, I'm going to invest so that I can save taxes. And then the money, after I put it in there for a couple years, the money is going to come back, right? So he said, it literally is poor, middle, rich people. And what is your mindset? And who are you selling to? Who are you selling to? And this is also a really good one, right? So the question for you is, who are you serving? Okay, who are you serving? Are you serving the rich or are you serving the poor? Because then your program have to be crafted very differently. Okay. I was thinking on average, majority of my clients only have 1 to 2 virtual assistants. The biggest one that we have so far has 10. Okay. But that's only that one person. I was like, what is the difference? Why do we not have as many people get more than 5? Because I know I'm talking about having 5 virtual assistants for the longest time. Okay, 5 virtual assistants for longest time. So what was the difference? How come they are not doing what I am doing? Because again, leave by example, right? Right now I have about 50 virtual assistants internally. And as for agency, we have about 300. And I'm just really trying to figure out, okay, how can I get my clients to get what I have? Again, I don't expect you to do 50, right? And I keep talking about having an EA, having somebody to do your social media, get somebody to do your sales and customer service, get somebody to do your accounting, and then get somebody to schedule podcasts and Instagram and all that. And then I realized that, wow, the biggest difference is the mindset. People mindset about time. Again, if you ask me how long did it take for me to do this slideshow, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. I literally throw it into my VA who just got in and I say, I need you to get this thing done. This thing will technically take me at least an hour of my good time to get it done, but it only take me 3 minutes. Okay. So you say poor people mindset, right? Is time is for surviving. Time is to trade. It's just enough to meet the immediate. It's not affordable. Like a lot of the clients that we initially get, it's just, they just let me have one first, right? And then they just start with that one. They never grow past the second and the third and the fourth, right? And I feel like maybe it's a commitment. And then you're still going to get into the overwhelm, the reactive, the survival mode, right? And the belief is that very similar to money, right? I can't afford to let go and I am the best, right? And that's the reason why like most of my clients consistently just buy themselves. You know what I'm saying? We still cannot get out of that mindset. And we have poor people mindset, like poor in time perspective. Okay, poor in time perspective. That's why we're still going to be stressed. We're still fixing, putting out the fires. That's the reason why the company wasn't growing as fast, right? Because think about it, an hour of me trying to figure this PowerPoint out, my VA actually only take 10 minutes to get this thing out. And an hour for me, like what I talk about in this community, the standard is if you want to make $1 million, right? That means that you are worth $500 an hour, right? $500 an hour. That means that technically it costs me $100 to do this, but I'm actually paying my VA that only cost me $10. Because it's only taking him an hour to get this done. So it technically cost me $10 to get this PowerPoint done, but I might spend $100, right, to get this done because if I'm trading it with time and money, okay? So I was like, man, that is not the right mindset. But I never really know that there is this poor people, middle-class people, and rich people mindset. And obviously it's not our fault that we don't know because education system is teaching us poor people mindset so that we can consistently get it stuck in the loop and then paying the most amount of taxes and struggle, okay? And then he talks about middle class mindset, right? Middle class time is for earning, right? To maintain comfort and pay for the lifestyle. And delegation is to reduce stress, but not to create leverage. Like our mindset is okay, right? And then the second layer of my clients usually is, okay, let me delegate out as much as possible so that I can do less. And then that's it. It didn't really, but the result of it is busy but stable. But growth is very limited. It's still on safety first. So a lot of your VAs most likely is doing the very fundamental task for you, but you never really thought about, okay, what else can I use them to do? But if she worked with some other clients, she'd be like, man, I'm not being challenged. I'm very comfortable. What I'm trying to tell you is that make sure that you do not get your VA to be comfortable. When you are being challenged to do new things, they should be consistently being challenged to do new things too. So that way your company is going to grow and grow. But again, everybody's different. Some people just love to stay at the poor people mindset, right? Some people love to be comfortable at the middle class, right? Some people, it's going to be on the rich people mindset, right? And my job is to allow you to have the rich people mindset to get as many virtual assistants as possible because time is the only thing, right? Time is the only thing that you cannot buy back. If you spend more money, the money can be buy back. And again, a virtual assistant on average is about $10 an hour. If I have a new project, I allocate $500. Usually this is my mindset, $500, which is 1 hour of my time, right? But it saved me so much more time, right? And that's what I think, that's what the rich people mindset is. The rich people mindset, just like what I talk about money, right? Rich people mindset is how can I use time to make wealth? How can I really use time and figure out a way to generate scalable and passive income, right? Like multifamily. Myron Golden right now is getting into like multifamily a lot, right? It is essential for the investment and it's delegating to scale. Like the belief is time is asset, protected, multiplied it. That's the reason why I have 50 virtual assistants. Also, I wanted to share with you also the stability that I receive from multiple virtual assistants. Why? At the season right now that that my company is growing and moving, right? And we used to only hire C player because I was a C player entrepreneur. I don't know how to work with A player either. It can give me a lot of stress to work with A player VAs, right? So then company is slowly but surely to increase. So we actually have a lot of people that have quit on us because of the standard that we have raised. And some people just doesn't feel like we're no longer well fitted. So when this person leave me, I realized that my lifestyle have never changed. I still hanging out with Myron. I'm still going to go to Mexico, right? I'm still consistently learning. And then the people underneath me immediately hire, train, and fill in the gap. So it really doesn't make me like slow down my momentum to get to the next level that I need to get. See how I can instill this rich mindset to you guys and invest, right, in how can you multiply more time? How can you get more VA, even if they are just sitting around and not do anything? I doubt that you could do that. But because of that, I get them to do more things. Right. Like right now, I'm learning from Brandon Kane. He runs Hook Point. He's super amazing at social media. So what I did is I get my VAs to, hey, hop on through 3 hours. I want you guys to learn everything about them, right? Model after success, and then do it for me, right? But again, do I go study that? No, right? But I will get all the best things because I am paying for them to go learn and then take me out of the equation. I'm just only going to be focusing on what I'm really good at, right? So the mindset comparison, it's that I just wanted you to shift your mindset and ask yourself, what is your time actually really worth? If you only have one virtual assistant, right? Why is that only one virtual assistant? Is it because you have a poor people mindset? Is it because you have a middle people mindset? Do you actually have a rich people mindset? Are you still trading your time for money? Are you using your time to create wealth, right? Do you delegate for relief or do you delegate for results? And start acting as if you already worth $1,000. Maybe $500 is not that much, right? How can you start acting like you are worth $1,000 an hour? How long have we run the business? I don't even know. Almost 5 years, 4.5 years. Okay. In 4.5 years, right? With leveraging and because I delegate, I leverage, right? So all my virtual assistants doing the work. I am only in charge of thinking, growing, acting, right? And figure out what is the next big idea. By next month, if we don't add any more clients, don't add any more things, we'll be hitting $10 million. We'll be hitting $10 million. And I was like, man, how can I really share this with all of you? Because some of you guys is, oh man, I'm struggling. I can do this. I can do that. Not that you cannot do it. You just don't have enough time to sit down and process because you're consistently doing the day-to-day work. So how many more things can you give it to other people? Even if they screwed it up. I will be coming out with my book, right? One of the chapter, the very first one is, I want to call it the state, right? And in part of the state, one of the piece I want to really talk about is flexibility. How can I get you to instill flexibility in you that even if your VA screw it up, right? What's the worst case scenario here? For me, we have to refund the customer. I get a really nasty email and worst case scenario is I have to refund the customer. Before I was in real estate, so it's a little harder. We did make a mistake before. We don't have 1 0. We missed 1 0 in the back of a contract. But what is the worst case scenario for your business if somebody screwed it up? Even if they screwed out one email. And by the way, I want you guys to know, because of AI existing now, if your email have errors, people feel like you're more authentic nowadays. Surprise, surprise. People actually thought that maybe it's AI generated is not as cool. So I really wanted to shift your mindset and say, okay, can you start acting like you are worth $1,000 an hour? And just like what I say, if you want to make $1 million, you should have at least 4 to 5 virtual assistants. I'm not sure which part will allow you to shift better, but the question is, how can you get yourself to hire 4 or 5 virtual assistants so that you actually will create even more tasks for them to do? And by you delegate more tasks for them to do, right? That increase your profit margin and that increase your income just by doing that. I want to challenge you on that so that ultimately you have the rich people mindset, right? Again, the thing that what Myron say, right? You can always make more money, but you cannot make more time. The rich don't just delegate tasks, they actually delegate the outcome. And I love what this just said too. Hey, I need you to reply all my emails within 3 hours. Okay, within 3 hours, even if you don't get an answer. And I need you to make sure that all my email is responded. And if there's something is off, you need to let me know. There's 2 things that she's really owning. Maybe more than 2, right? I know it's more than 2, but the primary 2 is my calendar, make sure that I don't get double booked and make sure that all the, schedule is booked out for me, right? Second one is my email, right? Making sure the communication and all that is done. Obviously, she has some other tasks, but those are the primary two that she owns, right? So the question for you is like, do you hire your VA to own a position or own the role? I have another EA that helped me with social media, and she also knows I don't really get on social media. If I do it, it's a bonus. But it's her job to make sure that everything is dialed in, everything is good, because she owns that part of the company. Monique, she's my COO. She owns the whole operation of the company, right? She makes sure that everything is done and done well. Anybody show up? Anybody not show up? What kind of new rules do we need to create for the company? I really get them to know that, okay, this is the part that you own. And then whatever that come from that, right? Whatever tasks that come from that, it's all ultimately in charge by them. Instead of, hey, I need you to do this one thing, that one thing, this one thing, that one thing. And then at the end you're like, oh, no, how come they are like a VA robot, right? How come they are not doing more things? Because you're focusing on delegating the task, not necessarily just the outcome. My outcome with Grace is that I'm really busy. I just don't want to miss any emails, right? So even if you don't get an answer, you just have to say, hey, I don't have an answer for you right now. I'm really busy, but at least the email is set. Okay. So apply this now, right? List the 5 tasks that you're going to be delegating this week. Recalculate your hourly value, right? And hire or train someone to own the result and not just the task. So then your VA should be thinking your job is to make sure we have 50 attendees, right? I don't care how you do it. Surprise me, ask other people, ChatGPT, Googled it, right? Where else can you help me find more people? Facebook ads, organic outreach, do a personal post, right? Reach out to some groups, right? I don't care how you're going to get all that done, right? But my outcome is I want to see 50 people show up. And if there's 50 people I do showing up, maybe I'll give you a certain amount of bonus, right? Just so that you don't have to chase them around and they're much more motivated to do that. But again, it is a result-based virtual assistant and not a task-based virtual assistant. Because I know I get the result by delegating almost everything out. And I really love this quote. He said, freedom doesn't come from working harder. It comes from thinking richer. Okay, how can you think richer? How can you do more without doing more? Bought another program for $35K because he said, I just need to do this one thing and I'm going to get 1 million views. Than me going to learn Facebook ads, and then Facebook ads every season, right? A lot of my friends, they spend $100K a month on Facebook ads. And the messaging has to be very dialed in. So to me, it's a steal. And I don't have to do this. And I can get my VA to learn it and VA can make it happen for me. And a lot of them are very simple. But ultimately, I just want to really share this with you because it really impacted me a lot about the rich people mindset, the poor people mindset, the middle class people mindset. I myself actually still catch myself sometimes that even though I feel like I'm at the rich people side now, right? It's just really where you compare yourself with. But I still catch myself to have poor people mindset. Oh, is this going to cost me more, right? Instead of how much can this multiply for me? I hear this from Myron Golden, from Tony Robbins, from John Maxwell. They're really focusing on their strength zone. When we first started as an entrepreneur, we wanted to in touch of everything. We want to make sure that we know what's going on everything. Am I right? That's why it's slower for us because we got to make sure that everything is dialed in. Everything is correct. But after spending like 50,000 on EOS, I learned that everything should only be 80% good, okay? 80% is the new 100%, right? If it's 80% good and it can be done by somebody else, let it go because perfection is the lowest standard, right? One thing that they all have in common is if you ask Russell Brunson about HR, he will tell you, I have no idea who got hired, who got fired, what they need to fill out, when are they going to show up, what are they doing? I have no clue. All I'm focusing on is just sales and marketing, okay? Like copies, funnels, training the people. That's what she's really good at. John Maxwell, he said, I don't know how much money I have in the bank. You can ask my accountant. I don't know where I'm going to go next. I don't know how we get into this hotel. But all I am focusing on is teaching and train people to become leaders. That's all that I do. When I was talking to Myron Golden, Myron's like, yeah, the event's going to be at DoubleTree. And then we're going to be flying out tomorrow. Where? I don't know. Ask my assistant. I have no clue where we are going. The key is that if you really want to be a real entrepreneur, you need to get to a point where it's like you are so trusting your system and the process and you can delegate down and allow them to do the work so that you can really be 100% free flow on what you are doing. And obviously for me, I have proved to you over and over again that virtual assistant can do that. But whether it's virtual assistant, physical assistant, you hire a contractor, whatever it is that if you're worth $1,000 an hour minimum, what are some of the stuff that you're going to give out even more? How many more people can you hire and invest so they can multiply the time so that they can do more for you, so that eventually you have the rich people mindset, you allow the time to multiply with your time, right? And how can you think about how to scale and how to simplify your business even more than you doing the task, solving the problem, and getting yourself stressed out. I was really inspired about sharing this because I wanted to see you to have at least minimum of 4 or 5 virtual assistants, because I know that if something really truly happened to you and your life, your business will be running by itself. 2 years ago, my husband almost died, right? I couldn't function. I couldn't do anything, but thank God I have my virtual assistant team. They run my operation. And during that moment, I realized that it is extremely important that I have an automated business, because at that moment, I only just have to take care of him. I don't have to take care of my clients. I don't have to take care of my business. I don't have to worry about finances. Everything just runs itself. And I want you to have that life, not just to reduce the stress anymore, not just to make some money, right? I want you to make a lot of money. And again, also have a lot of it. I want to make sure that we can have it all, right? And sometimes as a woman, there's so many limiting beliefs that we have, and together we can make it happen. I wanted to support you because the world is going to be a much better place if we all know how to run leads, if we have more time so that we can focus on whether it's our children, our freedom, or whatever that we need to do.